The phone vibrated between us like a live wire. We were sitting on opposite ends of the couch, the quiet kind of evening we had perfected. No tension, no questions, just routine. Then the screen lit up on her lap, a name I didn't recognize. She didn't reach for it. That pause was microscopic, less than a second, but I saw it. Her eyes flicked down, her jaw tightened. She inhaled through her nose, slow, measured, like someone steadying themselves before stepping onto ice. I kept my face neutral. The phone stopped buzzing. Silence rushed back in, too fast, too clean. She smiled at me afterward, the same practiced curve I had trusted for years. "Spam," she said, soft, casual. I nodded. Inside me something shifted, not pain, not yet, alignment, because in that instant the room rearranged itself. Her voice sounded rehearsed, the air felt staged, and his presence, whoever he was, suddenly occupied the space between us, invisible, harmless looking, lethal. I didn't accuse her, I didn't even question her, I simply began remembering things I had once dismissed. How she spoke his name, Daniel, too easily when he came up at work, how his jokes lingered in her mouth after she repeated them, how she guarded her phone like a passport. I told myself it was nothing. That was the lie I told to survive the day. At night, the lie dissolved. I lay awake, counting moments that no longer fit together. Late meetings, sudden privacy, emotional absences disguised as fatigue. Daniel. Always Daniel. He was older, married, harmless, she'd said once, laughing. I laughed too. Now I understood the laugh. It was camouflage. I didn't rush. People make mistakes when they rush. Instead, I observed. I memorized patterns, her schedule, her moods. When she lied, she over-explained. When she told the truth, she barely spoke. I checked phone records, not messages, she was careful, but timestamps, calls that lasted just long enough to matter. I watched her when his name appeared on her screen. She didn't smile, she softened. That hurt more than anger ever could. I created a separate email, scheduled a DNA test under the pretense of health curiosity. Our son's blood sample felt heavier than it should have. Through all of it, I stayed calm. I kissed her goodbye every morning. I asked about her day. Inside, I was building a map, and every road led to him. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday. No drama, no warning, just data. I read it once, then again. The words didn't blur, they sharpened. Probability of paternity, 0.00%. I didn't sit down. I didn't breathe deeply. I folded the paper carefully and placed it back in the envelope. That evening I set it on the kitchen table between us like a neutral object, a bill, a receipt, something ordinary. "What's that?" she asked. I slid it toward her. "Read it." Her hands trembled, barely. Enough. When she looked up, her face collapsed inward, years of careful construction caving in at once. She cried, she begged, she spoke his name like a confession and a plea. I listened. I felt nothing. "I knew before the test," I said quietly. That was the moment she broke. I told her how long, how much, how deeply I had already buried the truth inside myself. I explained calmly that Daniel's wife would receive copies, that legal proceedings were already in motion, that silence had been a courtesy, not a weakness. She reached for me. I stepped back. "No," I said, not loudly, final. Her power had lived in secrecy. I removed it. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't threaten, I simply showed her that every move she thought was hidden had already been accounted for. The devastation on her face was surgical, precise. I left the house before dawn. No goodbye, no explanation. Everything that mattered had already been said. The world felt sharper outside, colder, honest. I thought I would feel loss. Instead, I felt alignment again. Some truths don't free you by making noise. They free you by ending illusions. His presence had never been harmful.